On a quiet evening in May 2007, at a family-friendly resort in Portugal's Algarve, a seasonally ordinary night turned into an enduring nightmare. A 3-year-old girl vanished from her bed without a sound, leaving behind only a pair of pink pajamas and a name that would soon echo around the world. 17 years later, Madeleine McCann's disappearance remains one of the most haunting mysteries of our time, an unsolved case that continues to captivate and confound. 17 years later, the question remains, how can a little girl vanish without a trace? It all begins as a pleasant family holiday at the Ocean Club Resort in Portugal. Kate and Gerry McCann, both doctors from England, were traveling with their 3 children and a group of friends. On May 3, 2007, the adults gathered for a tapas dinner at the resort's poolside restaurant around 8:30 p.m., while the children slept in a nearby apartment. The McCann's patio door was left closed and unlocked for quick checks, and a small garden gate led to the street outside. Around 9:30 p.m., Gerry checked on the children. He found Madeleine and the twins all asleep, though he noticed that the bedroom door was left more open than he expected. He quietly pulled it shut and returned to dinner. Another friend, Matthew Oldfield, offered to check on the McCann children around 9:30 p.m. He noticed nothing amiss, but didn't look closely enough to confirm each child in a bed. At 10 p.m., Kate returned to apartment 5A and sensed something was wrong. The bedroom door was wide open and a draft moved through the curtains. The twins were both sleeping peacefully, but Madeleine's bed was empty. The window shutter was raised, and her blanket and cuddle cat toy were still on the bed. Kate ran back to the restaurant, shouting, "Madeleine's gone. Someone had taken her." Within the hour, both staff and other guests launched a desperate search of the complex and the surrounding area. The resort activated its missing child protocol. Flashlights swept the grounds while friends fanned out through the streets and scrubland. By late evening, police arrived and widened the search. By dawn, there was still no sign of the child. The only clue they had was a 90-minute window of time in which a predator could have struck, a window investigators would debate for years to come. Local authorities scrambled to respond in the critical golden hours. Uniformed officers arrived late that evening, followed by detectives after midnight. Yet those first hours were marred by missteps, roadblocks, and alerts that weren't immediately set out. Inside apartment 5A, well-meaning searchers and neighbors entered and exited before the scene was fully secured, potentially contaminating evidence. Fingerprint dusting and forensic collection was conducted, but the integrity of the samples was questioned in hindsight. Outside, onlookers gathered near doors and windows, possibly disturbing footprints or trace evidence. With the world's media arriving by morning, pressure intensified rapidly. Investigators pursued several lines of inquiry, including the idea of a complete stranger abducting the child. They interviewed resort employees, checked local offenders, and chased reports of suspicious individuals the day before the disappearance, including door-to-door charity collectors. Despite extensive searches and interviews, there were few concrete leads. In that vacuum, speculation grew, and before long, even the parents came under scrutiny. With very few hard facts to go off of, rumors spread. By early summer 2007, whispers that the parents might be involved begin to surface, amplified by the tabloids and leaks. Minor inconsistencies in statements, the kind that often emerge under stress, became fodder for sensationalized coverage. Over the months, the investigative focus quietly shifted for some towards a theory that Madeleine had died in the apartment and that her parents might be concealing the truth. In September 2007, after British sniffer dogs alerted to cadaver and blood scents in the apartment and the McCanns later hired rental car, the parents were named as formal suspects. Early DNA reports suggested DNA links, but the results were partial and complex, not strong enough to be definitive. Still, public opinion turned sharply, fueled by headlines and conjecture. The case's lead Portuguese detective pursued the theory of an accidental death and later wrote a book laying out his view, sparking a long legal battle with the McCanns. In July 2008, prosecutors announced that there was no evidence to charge the parents or other early suspects. The case was archived as unsolved, and the McCann suspect status was lifted. They would later on win libel settlements against several UK papers for unfounded allegations. Though cleared legally, the couple faced a new reality. Their daughter was still missing, and the official investigation had completely stalled out. In 2011, after appeals from the McCanns, the UK government asked the Metropolitan Police to review the case. Operation Grange began as a review and later became a full investigation. The team re-examined every scrap of information, treating the case as a criminal abduction. One pivotal reassessment came in 2013. Investigators identified the man seen at 9:15 p.m. carrying a child as a fellow holidaymaker with his own daughter, effectively removing that sighting from the abduction timeline. This extended the likely window of opportunity to around 10 p.m. and refocused attention on a separate 10 p.m. sighting by the Smith family, who reported seeing a man carrying a pajama-clad girl towards the beach. Operation Grange covered hundreds of potential leads, from similar crimes in the Algarve to potential suspects linked to the resort area. Over time, the UK team was scaled down, but the investigation persisted with periodic funding renewals. It remained one of the most extensive and expensive inquiries of its kind, eliminating false leads and paving the way towards a new prime suspect. In June 2020, German authorities named a new prime suspect, a man named Christian Bruckner, a German national with a long criminal history who had lived intermittently in the Algarve, including near the exact resort town that she went missing from.
How would you describe Christian Bruckner?
A dangerous man. I know what I saw and I know he is a dangerous man. And then he said to me, yeah, she was not screaming.
Who did you see?
Christian Bruckner, yeah. I don't believe him.
He strenuously denies being involved in the Madeleine McCann case.
I don't believe him. He know what I saw. He know it.
You believe he took Madeleine McCann?
Yeah.
He had prior convictions for sexual offenses and burglary, and in 2019 was sentenced in Germany for a 2005 sexual assault of a 72-year-old woman in the same exact resort town. Investigators said that phone records placed Bruckner in the area of the night of Madeleine's disappearance. Searches of his properties and vehicles over the years yielded disturbing materials suggesting predatory behavior.
Somebody can rob the little children from a hotel, yeah? And then he said to me, yeah, she was not screaming. And I was thinking, okay.
She was not screaming?
Yeah, she was not screaming. And I know what I hear from him. I'm not stupid. And I was thinking, okay, how he knows this?
What do you believe he meant by that?
He have to do something with this. Yeah, he take Maddie out from this hotel, yeah. I was thinking, yeah, he is involved, sure, in this, yeah.
Why do you think he said it?
This is coming out from his mouth by accident?
German prosecutors stated that they believed Madeleine was dead and that Bruckner was responsible, though they withheld key evidence while building their case.
Christian Bruckner is our prime suspect, and he's still the only suspect we have in the Madeleine McCann case. We have evidence that he killed Madeleine McCann, but it's not the time for us to put it on the table and to decide if we could charge him or if we could go for an arrest warrant or something like that in the Medi case. Maybe we'll come to this point in the next year.
Excavations and reservoir searches followed in Portugal, with items taken for analysis, but no public breakthrough. Bruckner has denied any involvement. Separate charges in Germany for other historical offenses in Portugal became entangled in a jurisdictional nightmare, and some were dismissed or did not proceed at all.
And I think Christian was thinking, okay, go in one apartment and take some stuff from this apartment. By this time, he don't take baggage, luggage, some stuff. No, he take her.
Christian Bruckner is now coming out of prison. He's going to be a free man. What do you think of that?
This is really hard. A big criminal man, to let him go as a free man, and the Germans not found enough evidence to bring him again behind the bars. I don't understand this. Now I know there will come out a really dangerous man.
He completed a sentence related to the 2005 sexual assault, and upon release, he was placed under close monitoring. As of late 2025, he has not been charged over the McCann case, and investigators remain tight-lipped about the full extent of their evidence. It is the closest the case has come to a single sustained suspect. Yet, without a body, confession, or decisive forensic links, uncertainty remains. For Kate and Jerry McCann, life has been lived in the shadows of unanswered questions. Each anniversary brings a public message of hope and perseverance. The fevered media attention of 2007 has faded, but the case has never disappeared from public consciousness. It has migrated online, where forums, videos, and social media keep theories and sometimes misinformation alive. The global awareness of this case has led to a bit of a dual legacy. On one hand, it has kept Madeleine's image recognizable and spurred improvement in missing child responses. On the other hand, it has fueled conspiracy theories and online abuse that the family has to still endure. The case's notoriety has also attracted troubled individuals. One of the most disturbing episodes involves a young Polish woman who publicly claims to be Madeleine, contacting the McCanns repeatedly from 2022 onward, despite official denials and DNA evidence disproving her claim.
This all can be resolved very simply if you provide a DNA sample to Scotland Yard, for example. Are you willing to do that?
If DNA will show that my roots come from Britain, I will do this.
Well, is there any reason you wouldn't give it to Scotland Yard? If they have the McCann's DNA and they had your DNA, they could immediately determine whether or not you were related.
I would like to do it, but I tried to talk with Scotland Yard. I mean, I called them many times.
Because this is all a science question. It can be answered very simply. You don't have to compare pictures. You don't have to do anything. You just have to take their DNA and your DNA and compare it.
I tried to do it many times. As I said, I called many authorities. Nobody answered.
In any event, that's what you want. You want confirmation one way or the other.
I want to know the truth. That's all. I think that everybody wants to know the truth. Like, for example, if you will be in my situation, you would like to know the truth too.
100%.
Yes.
For sure, I'd want to know.
What began as an online spectacle escalated into harassment, dozens of messages and calls, and even an appearance near the McCann's home. In October 2025, a UK court heard stalking charges against the woman and an alleged accomplice. Kate and Jerry testified about the deep emotional toll, especially hearing the stranger refer to Kate as mom, a word that she longs to hear from her own daughter. Tensions peaked when the defendant broke down and was removed from court after an outburst. Whatever the verdict, the incident underlined a painful truth. Long-running cases don't just simply fade into cold files. They ripple through the real lives in unpredictable and sometimes cruel ways. There is no grave, no confirmed sighting, and no definitive forensic proof of what happened that night. What remains to this day is the resolve of those still searching for answers. Operation Grange continues in limited capacity, sharing information with German and Portuguese counterparts. The McCanns maintain their campaign and public appeals, living out the motto of no stone unturned, while raising their twins with as much normalcy as possible. This story is a testament to the power of hope and the agony of ambiguity. Every birthday, every holiday, the family remembers what might have been. Madeleine's face and the distinctive mark in her eye has become a symbol for missing children everywhere. The case has also forced hard reflections on media ethics, investigator coordination, and our culture's appetite for true crime. In the end, we're left with time. Time for new evidence to surface, for a conscience to crack, or for technology to reveal what's been hidden. If you found this deep dive helpful, consider subscribing to the channel for more long-form explorations where mystery meets memory. We'll keep following the facts, the theories, and the human stories behind them. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next one.